We are back here on Titans Talk. Welcome you to talk on the program tonight as well. 737-7767 is the number if you would like to join us. You have a thought about yesterday's game, comments about the first 2 weeks of the season, as the Titans are now 2-0 after a 33-30 win over the Jaguars yesterday at Nissan Stadium. We'll get to some analysis. We'll hear from some of the players and coaches coming up in just a few moments. But first, let's look back at yesterday's game, an empty Nissan Stadium for the home opener of 2020. And how about this script to start the game? I mean, you cannot draw it up any better than that, Arthur Smith. That's Jonnu Smith for 63 yards on the very first play from scrimmage. That worked so well, let's go right back to 81. Ryan Tannehill, Jonnu Smith, 13-yard, touchdown Titans. It's 7-0. Later, Jaguars ball, that is tipped and intercepted by Christian Fulton, the rookie second-round pick out of LSU, runs it back 45 yards. Titans in business again. And here's Corey Davis, big game last week, touchdown this week. All of a sudden, it's 14-0 already, Titans. But Jacksonville would not go away. Gardner Minshew going up top. Chris Chart, 45 yards, and then Tyler Eifert over an outstretched Kenny Vaccaro. It's 14-7. Late in the first half, it's Jonnu Smith. His third touchdown of the year already, tying a career high. Extends the lead back out to 14. But there's Keenan Cole on the receiving end of the rainbow from Minshew. Sets up a field goal and make it 21-10. But a key moment here right before half. This was one of the moments of the day. Josh Kalou stops the squib kick and falls on it. A quick pass to Anthony Ferkser right here sets up Stephen Gostkowski from 51 yards out. And after all the struggles in week one, that ball is good. Titans back up 14 at the half. But the Jaguars with a huge drive to start the second half. James Robinson, 17 of his 102 yards. It's 24-17. So the Titans have to answer. And how about the guts from Tannehill? Sticking in there and sticking it right to Adam Humphries. 18-yard touchdown. Point after, though, no good, so it's 30-17. Here's Minshew. Looks like he's going to run. Instead, he finds Cole in the back of the end zone. Jags missed the extra point as well, so it's still a 7-point game, 30-23. Jacksonville, 10 of 14 on third downs. Here's one of them, Chris Conley, 24 yards into Titans territory. And then here's another one. I tell you, Gardner Minshew kind of looks like a TV character, but dude can ball. You do not throw it any better than that. And all of a sudden, we have a tie game at 30. So the Titans once again need a late drive for a field goal. Looks like the Jags are going to stop, but Miles Jack flagged for pass interference. That moves the Titans into field goal range, and Gostkowski from 49 yards is pure. 1:36 to go, though, so the Titans need a stop. Jags on the move, but Big Jeff Simmons getting his hand in the passing lane. Harold Landry comes up with the interception, and that will do it. Tighten up. Titans win at 33-30 and improve to 2-0 for the first time since 2008, a seventh straight win at home against the rival Jaguars in the AFC South. And time now to get into our weekly keys to the game, as we do every Sunday night on the Electric Power Company Sunday Sports Central, with our guy, analyst, and Titans radio host, Jonathan Hutton. Time now for the Xfinity keys to the game, and for that we turn to our analyst, Jonathan Hutton, who is part of the Titans radio call this afternoon. Jonathan, Jonnu Smith was maybe the best player on the field this preseason for the Titans, and he was a big part of Sunday's game plan right from the very first play.
And that first play was a boot throwback, a design play where Jonnu Smith was able to get through traffic and he was off to the races. His athleticism did the rest. And he is a matchup problem in the red zone. 2 touchdowns today shows you why. Smith will continue to be one of the go-to players for Ryan Tannehill because of their lack of depth of receiver right now. A.J. Brown on the mend, Corey Davis garnering more coverage. And specifically with Jonnu Smith, all of that offseason one-on-one work with Ryan Tannehill, Steve, it is paying off early. 3 touchdowns in 2 games.
Yeah, and we mentioned the third down woes defensively, but Tannehill and the offense went 7 of 11 on third downs themselves to come up with every answer they needed.
And that third down play today was crucial to keep drives alive. They were perfect on their scoring drives when third downs were needed to keep those possessions churning downfield. Their spacing, their awareness of the distance needed to move the chains, the precise route running, that has been huge. Anthony Ferkser hauled in some strong third down catches in the first half. And Adam Humphries continues to be the slot machine, as Mike Keith calls him. He caught 2 passes on third down today, including that third quarter touchdown. It's been big for Tannehill and company on third down.
And for the second straight game, the Titans keep their composure even when momentum started to shift against them.
And the composure for this club starts at quarterback with Ryan Tannehill, who has been money as the starter this season. But beyond that, they've had some players step up that really needed to in some big moments. For instance, Joshua Kalu fielding that squib kick right before halftime. Cameron Batson with the first down on a reverse. Chris Milton downing a punt at the 5-yard line. Big plays today. And the red zone composure also continues. 4 trips inside the red zone for the Titans offense, 4 touchdowns.
2-0 for the first time since 2008. That's the last time the Titans won the AFC South. Yeah, big moment for the Titans to get to 2-0 here and a chance to maybe go to 3-0 as they take on the 0-2 Vikings coming up on Sunday up in Minnesota. But there's still a lot to be, I don't know if it's concerned about, but things to be less than pleased about. A lot of work yet to go. It's a long progress. As we saw last year, the Titans in December, and frankly, as we've seen for several years now, the Titans in December have been a very different unit than the Titans in September. You have to be at your best late in the season. You have to continue to improve. And so just because the Titans started 2-0 obviously doesn't mean anything. We've seen a lot of 2-0 teams flounder and struggle and not make it to the playoffs. And we've seen teams that start 2-0 that continue to get better, and they're the type of teams that win divisions. They're the type of teams that battle for home field advantage. Can the Titans be that latter team? Can they do what they've done in past years in getting better over the course of the season after figuring out a way to win early on? And I do think that is one of the things that really stuck out to me about the last week, the Denver game and the Jacksonville game yesterday, is when you think back to Titans games of the past. And we kind of documented the first 2 games this year in the first segment and how it was much on the defense in week 1, and it was a big credit to the offense yesterday that the Titans were able to win in week 2. In past years, when they didn't get the complementary effort and it was all about one side of the ball, the Titans didn't win those games. They just didn't. When the defense got roughed up and it became all on the offense and it had to be a shootout, they didn't win very often. When the offense struggled to do anything and it became up to the defense to essentially pitch a shutout, they didn't win very often. And so the idea they played these 2 games the way they played them and they figured out a way to win, I think is encouraging, because this team's going to play better. They have to. They just have to get better than this. But for them to win when they were not at their best and to start the season 2-0 that way, I think is an encouraging sign of what this team can potentially be when it reaches its best. The idea that you can figure out a way to win in a league as tough to win in and week out as the National Football League, when you don't have your A game or even your B game or maybe even your C game, and you can still win, that is a very, very good sign. And that's what we saw from the Titans in these first 2 games. Let's hear from the head coach, Mike Vrabel, at the podium after the game.
Mike, I guess second straight week that you pull one out there at the end. Can you talk about, I guess, just the stick-to-itiveness that this team has, losing the lead and then showing poised to come back and hang on?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, you don't know when they're going to be, blowouts or when you're going to have close games. And obviously, the way that this league is designed, I think that we prepare for all kinds of situations, close games, and building a mindset that if it's not going your way, that we don't need any front runners. A lot of credit to Jacksonville and Doug and his staff and that football team for battling back and coming back and answer. we have to play better. We have to coach better. I'm confident that we will, but excited to be 2-0 for the first time here in Tennessee.
Teresa?
Hey, Mike, you were watching Gostkowski in warm-ups. He clanks one off of the left upright, but what was your confidence in him to see him again do a second straight game-winning field goal?
The confidence is the same for every player that's here, is that they're expected to do their job, and we have a lot of confidence in their ability to do their job. So that's what we had to do. We came down to a field goal kick, and you could see that it was a really good kick. It was, plenty of distance, accuracy, the protection was good. So, that's what we needed today.
Jim?
Mike, if you could talk about the play of Ryan Tannehill throws for 4 touchdown passes on a day when the running game, found yards tough to come by. How impressed were you with him?
Yeah, I've always had a lot of respect for this defense and their coaches and their players. They play hard. That's a young group over there. They're talented. But I would say the guys went up and made plays and helped Ryan out like it is all the time. Hump or Corey, Jonnu, those guys went up, caught the football, attacked the football. And that was really good to see. It's not all on one guy. We understand that. And so that was where we were today.
John?
Yeah, Mike, look, for most of the game, obviously it was tough to stop Jacksonville. What did you guys do especially well in those last 2 drives that enabled you to stop them?
Able to get off the field on 3rd down and then able to create a turnover. Again, the turnovers were huge. Our ability to take care of the ball on offense and to get 2 turnovers on defense. Thought the play at the end of the half is kind of where we want to be as a football team. Hold them to a field goal, execute the squib defense, and use our timeouts, execute a play, and then kick a field goal. So that's positive. That's good to see, and it ended up being a huge play in the game for us.
Corey?
Hey, Coach, congratulations. Just wanted to ask, second half in particular, was the bigger issue for your defense Minshew getting rid of it too quickly, or you just couldn't get there fast enough?
Well, I think a little bit of both. I think that, they busted a couple runs, which I would say is not ideal to change some field position. We knew coming in that if we didn't disrupt the timing, he was accurate. I've got a lot of respect for him as a quarterback. We have to rush better. We have to cover better. We have to coach better. We have to coach all those things better. And but we were able to disrupt the football and there late in the game and got the turnover that was the difference.
Paul?
Mike, Kalu's play there on the squib kick, pretty remarkable. Had you seen something like that before, and how much of that is luck and how much of that is him being heads up?
It's coached and it's executed in practice. And again, it was it's going to be great to teach off of, just to explain to the guys like why we do this stuff here at the end of the half or end of the game. It's a huge play, and so all the credit to Craig Aukerman and Ryan Crow being able to teach that and to get these guys ready to execute it when it comes up. It doesn't come up very often, but it did. And then also to the offensive staff to be able to put the players out there to gain 15 yards that we needed and then call the timeout.
David?
Mike, Jonnu Smith, again, the big start to this game, a couple touchdowns early in the season. What's he doing maybe a little bit better than you've seen him the last couple of years right now?
I think he's just focused on being able to go and attack the football, use his speed. He drew a penalty, a huge penalty. So he continues to improve. He's a great teammate. He's a unbelievable player to coach and be around every day. I've always admired his, upbringing. I know that, his mom has done a fantastic job raising him, and he's a great teammate. He works hard, and you're always happy to see good things happen to those type of people.
And if you could all please mute. Luke?
Mike, last week Like last week, some of the offense maybe this week. Did you think that was the case based on the production you saw?
Luke, I apologize. You're going to have to repeat that. I just saw last week in production. I didn't hear the beginning.
Yeah, some of the offensive players talked last week about wanting to look a little crisper and be a little more efficient this week. Do you think they got that today?
I think at times, but then obviously not. You know, there's too many plays that aren't positive, runs that are at or behind the line of scrimmage, penalties. I thought we protected well for the most part, gave Ryan some time to, work through his progression. But again, we just have to continue to improve. We're happy to be 2-0. We have to play better. We have to continue to improve. That's what the best teams in this league will do. They'll continue to improve.
Joe, and then we'll have 3 follows.
Yeah, Mike, apologize if you got this. I missed some of this, but we've talked a lot this offseason about what it would be like playing with no fans. I mean, today you could actually hear some of the individual fans trying to make noise, on third down. So now what was it like out there in that atmosphere?
Same as it was last week, except it's quiet and, we're excited to be able to get fans back here as soon as we can. Hopefully we can play well enough that they'll want to cheer, as many of them that are here. It's different, but I think, we're kind of used to it now being the second game, and our play and our own personal attitude has to bring the energy. We have to make positive plays to continue to, transfer that energy from group to group and unit to unit.
Paul?
Sorry, Mike, I had trouble getting in early. Could you address the one you talked about less, Tannehill's excellent effort or Jacksonville's ability to move the ball so well up until the end?
Just the ability for us to get off the field on third down. That's what it came down to. It was so many third and shorts. We got to create more negative plays early in the drive so that they're not, sitting there at 3rd and 2. Have the whole playbook open, gain 2.5 yards is still first down. To me, there was a few X plays, which was a key to the game. They get big receivers. They want to move the ball downfield. They hit a couple runs, Paul, that, we can't have. Change field position, change momentum. And then I'm not sure what you asked me about on offense other than Ryan with his, 4 touchdowns, but I thought there were some great catches and great efforts to be able to protect, give them a lot of time to progress on, as well as those guys going up and catching the football. I know Corey went up and got it, Jonnu, and I thought that Hump's play was outstanding in there in the end zone.
John?
Like Christian Fulton obviously gets his first pick, and then he seemed to be playing more in the second half there. I guess the slot guy. What did you see about his play today, and how did he end up getting more reps as his game improved, I guess?
Well, I'm going to reserve the evaluation for after having a chance to watch the film. I thought he was good. He got his hand on the ball. And then just being ready to go. Some guys went down, and these are tough games early in the year. They're tough games. So we got to get healthy. We got to get guys, ready to go to get back on the road and go up to Minnesota.
Last one, Corey.
Coach, just wanted to ask you about the push you got from Jack Crawford. He had the big sack and then came up with the tip on that interception.
Have always, since he's gotten here, enjoyed coaching Jack, being around him. He's a perfect fit for us as far as just his versatility. Doing whatever is asked of him for the team and his effort. So was happy to see that he was able to get the sack and then also help there at the end of the game, but really appreciate his effort as well as everybody else.